So at the time of this recording, it is Saturday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, after the Truck Series race at Homestead. Earlier today, there was an Xfinity race at Homestead, and I know the weekend's not over, and there's still two more races on Sunday: the Xfinity race at noon and the Cup race at 3:30. But in terms of how the weekend's gonna go, the Xfinity Series is gonna be the only series to talk about at Homestead, and just basically my thoughts that I'm going to say about this Xfinity Series race, just copy and paste it and put that in a video talking about the Dash for Cash race, which is going to happen, I guess, at the time you're watching this today, later today, because it's probably going to be just as good, racing wise, because it was one hell of a show. And the Cup race is not going to come near it whatsoever because they don't run a good package. So the Xfinity Series heads to Homestead for a doubleheader, the Hooters 250. And Dale Jr.'s one race that he runs in the Xfinity Series the last 3 seasons. This season, he picked Homestead Miami Speedway for his one-off. So he starts 12th. Chase Briscoe, before the green flag even comes out, has issues on the 98 car. Some lead is left on the car. It's falling out. Basically like Denny Hamlin's issues at Charlotte. That's what Chase Briscoe had at Homestead. He falls 6 laps down early in the race. 6 laps down. That's going to be huge to think about later on in the race. So, start of the race, pretty good. But my gosh, so stage one was good. Don't get me wrong. Stage one was good. We had some tire strategy and it had Ryan Sieg win the stage. There was a yellow, the competition yellow, that came out. And some underfundeds decided to come down pit road, get some fresh tires on, and go. Most of the front runners stayed out because they saw what happened to Austin Cindric at Atlanta. He came down pit road under the comp, got 4 tires, and then ran out of tires at the end of the race and lost the race because of that. He had the best car on track, but lost because he didn't have enough tires at the end. So most teams learned from that and decided not to put on their set of tires during the comp yellow and save them for later in the race when they needed them, and they did need them later in the race. So Ryan Sieg and some other drivers came through the field. I think Kyle Weatherman was another one. I think the 47 car drove up inside the top 10. I mean, there were some names that should not have been up inside the top 10 that finished up inside the top 10 stage 1 because they came and got tires, which was pretty cool to see. But stage 2 is the bread and butter of this race and the beginning of stage 3 as well. In stage number 2, we had an intense battle between drivers like Ross Chastain, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, and others. There was like a 5 cars for the lead at one point in stage number 2, with drivers crossing each other over. At one point, there was a battle between Ross Chastain and Austin Cindric where they swapped the lead back and forth every half lap. Someone would go down slide job in turns 1 and 2, take the lead, then the other driver would cross over down the straightaway, get to the inside, then slide job up, and then they just kept repeating that. And they kept doing lead change after lead change after lead change. It was insane, thrilling racing that we saw. Cars would get into the wall, and instead of it being, when are we going to blow a tire, it is, well, these cars have composite bodies. As long as you don't nail the wall, you're not going to blow a tire. Which I love about those Xfinity cars. You can hit the wall, you can make some contact, and when you go down to pit road to make a pit stop, first of all, most of that damage doesn't cause blown tires because it doesn't cut the tire. Second of all, you go down pit road to fix the damage. It just takes a quick pull. They're very flexible, and you go. It doesn't take a lot to fix those cars. They can take a beating and keep on trucking. You can put it in the wall, keep going. That's what I love about those race cars. They're not the steel bodies like we see in Cup and trucks. So back to the racing though. My gosh, cars were sliding around. Multiple grooves were used. An amazing race, just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's one of the most perfect races that I think I've ever watched in my history of watching any NASCAR series. That's not just including Xfinity. That's like Cup and trucks as well. It's near the top of the list of best races I've watched because it had basically everything. It had everything you needed. Obviously, Stage 3 got a little bit spread out. Noah Gragson had a really, really good long run car. And when I say really good, it fired off. I don't even know how to describe it, but like 20 laps in a run, Be like that. You just snap your fingers, that thing would be tenths faster than people. At one point, he was like 4 tenths up on anyone in the field. He was that fast. I mean, that 9 car was insane on long runs. And before the last yellow came out, he had opened the gap up over second place. His boss and teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 10 seconds up on him. And he was running second, Dale Jr. was. So Noah definitely had the best long run car of the day, but the JRM short run cars did not work out. For Noah, it took about 20 laps for his car to come in. For Dale Earnhardt Jr., after about 5-10 laps, the car would start to get a little bit looser and get going. His car was mostly tight on the short run, and that was something that would plague the JRM cars on the final restart. So late in the race, yellow comes out for a Ryan Sieg blown tire and spin. Everyone comes down pit road because at that point there are 6 cars on the lead lap. It's like Noah Gragson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Austin Cindric, and others that are on the lead lap. I mean, Harrison Burton. There's not many. Michael Annett. That's like the cars on the lead lap, and Anthony Alfredo and some others. Those are the only cars on the lead lap. There's 6 cars on the lead lap. So everyone comes down pit road. A lot of cars take wave rounds. On the restart, Junior tries to give Gragson a shot going. He lays back, gets a little bit of a run, gives him a shot, but it's not as good as the shot on the outside with Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton working together in the outside groove. Burton is pushed by Noah Gragson, but not too fast. Noah comes back, and then they're 3 wide coming off turn 4, coming to the white flag. They are 3 wide for the race lead. Harrison Burton clears, holds off the challenge from Austin Cindric, and Harrison Burton wins his second Xfinity race of his career in a thrilling 3 wide dash to the white flag. I mean, it was absolutely insane how amazing this race was. Now, you may be wondering what happened to Chase Briscoe. You said he was 6 laps down earlier, and you said to just keep his name in mind. Well, he was 6 laps down. He ended 1 lap down in the race and had a shot to be on the lead lap. So his car was so fast that at points he went up and drove past the leader and unlapped himself the old-fashioned way. And then he would get the yellow, and then since we had some yellows and not many long runs, he would be the first car 1 lap down. So not only would he unlap himself, then he would get a lucky dog and get another lap back. He got 5 of his 6 laps back. I think he got 1 or 2 of them back doing it the old-fashioned way. The rest were lucky dogs. But absolute insane performance by Chase Briscoe to do that. If the yellows fell perfectly for him, he would have been in contention to win that race with Noah Gragson and some of the others. He was staying out really, really long, hoping for yellow to come out. I think he stayed out until like 15 to go or something. Like, he was out there for a tremendous amount of time. And unfortunately, yellow didn't fall his way, and he got put another lap down. But I mean, absolute insane racing for Chase Briscoe there, because he made up all of his laps there and then got it back at the end. And I think he finished on the lead lap. So that's... That's insane, man. I mean, gosh, if he won that race after being 6 laps down, that would have been comeback of all time. The best comeback of all time. It was absolute insanity. So now I want to talk about my favorite driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., racing in that race. Obviously does his one-offs. He's done it for the past 2 years. His 3rd year now he's done it. Back in 2018 when he did it, I think he led the most laps at Richmond. He won a stage. I think he led the most laps and was leading until a bullshit yellow came out, and then got hit into pit road, and he finished inside the top 5 there. Last year at Darlington, he ran inside the top 10 basically all day, had some cool battles, and ended up finishing 6th, and then Denny Hamlin got DQ'd, so then he got 1st. Or he got 5th. I don't know why I said 1st. He got 5th. He went from 6th to 5th. He got top 5. Here at Homestead, once again, had a fast race car. He was a little bit rusty. Went up there. Then after he kind of knocked some of that rust off, got inside the top 10. Got inside the top 5. Battled for the lead-up points. And was running 2nd when that last yellow came out. Came out of the pit road 3rd. And then finished 5th. I mean, I don't know if I can really ask for much more out of the day. First of all, the fact that he's even racing is good enough for me. Because, honestly, seeing 2017 and how horrible 2017 was, anything is a better send-off than what 2017 was. If that was his final Xfinity race, then those 3 Xfinity races they ran, Richmond, Darlington, and Homestead, were probably the best forms of send-off that one could ask for. way better than what 2017 was, because that was more hell than heaven. I kind of, watch these races now and have fun with it, even with him in the field. So, it's nice to see. And it's still nice to see how he hasn't been in a car for, almost a year. What, 10 months? 9.5 months at this point he has been in a car. And these guys are out in a car on a week-to-week basis. Noah Gragson, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain is in basically every race. Harrison Burton, they're in a race every week, and he can still perform with them being out of a car for 9.5 months. That to me is just kind of a win. It makes me happy that he can still be competitive with those guys even after not racing a bunch. So I think that's very, very cool. But to end it out, let's talk about the package, because there's not enough package talk when I talk about NASCAR on this channel. So, oh boy, this Xfinity package, right? I think it has 600 horsepower or so. It has about 50 to 100 more horsepower than the Cup Series, and it has lower downforce. And my God, if the last two Homestead races were any indication of what racing needs to be with stock cars, it is low downforce, high horsepower. Even with Xfinity cars, with medium horsepower, that's still better than what Cup's doing with 550 horsepower. So Homestead, to me, is the quintessential track. It is racing bliss. Homestead is, right? You think of 1.5 milers, I think of Homestead first. That is the quintessential 1.5 mile racetrack. If we are going to have 1.5 milers, we need Homesteads. Progressive banking, you can run bottom, you can run top. The tires wear out because the pavement is rough. It's just racing heaven. And so it's a good racetrack. And it doesn't work with the Cup package. Now, once again, we only saw one race with the Cup package, and we'll see later today what it looks like. But when they did it last year, it wasn't great. In fact, it was actually pretty terrible. And then the last two Xfinity races at Homestead have been amazing and some of the best in that track's history. Just remember the whole battle last year for the championship with Reddick and Custer and Bell. It was amazing. And Justin Allgaier at some points put himself in that battle as well. So you take a track like that, which is a good racetrack, and you put a package out there, and then the track is no longer good. That tells you the package is the problem, not the damn racetracks. Okay? The package is the problem. We can't have 8-inch. All right. Here's NASCAR's choice, right? They right now have low horsepower, high downforce. You can't have them both together. If you want low horsepower, you need low downforce with it. Okay? If you want high downforce, you need high horsepower with it. You can't have high downforce, low horsepower. You don't have any horsepower to break through the dirty air, and people just get stuck back there, and it is completely stupid what racing is at the top level of NASCAR. When a driver, Ross Chastain, gets interviewed on Door Bumper Clear, the podcast, the TJ Majors, Brett Griffin podcast, right? Ross Chastain gets interviewed, and they ask him a question about racing the 3 series or whatever, and he says, yeah, the Xfinity cars are the most fun to race of the top 3 series. And then his ass got chewed out by NASCAR execs for saying that. You got a problem, all right? He said the Xfinity package is the most fun to race at as a driver, because the driver actually matters in the package. And then executives are going to go to him and chew his ass out because he gave his opinion about how a package is better because it actually requires driver skill. Come on, that's bullshit. Let the man speak the truth, okay? He's not wrong. He is not wrong. NASCAR executives are wrong, and where they're wrong is the NASCAR Fan Council survey. You go look at that, right? We've all seen that picture. If you're on Twitter, you've seen the picture of the NASCAR Fan Council survey. I actually took that survey, and when it came out, I was like, what the fuck are they asking? Right? They asked, They gave pairs, and they're like, okay, you pick one. You can only pick one. Okay, the first pair. Would you rather see more horsepower and less side-by-side racing, or less horsepower and more side-by-side racing? What do those have to do with each other? Just because you have a lot of horsepower doesn't mean you're not going to have side-by-side racing. Okay? That's not how it works. Like, just because you have low horsepower doesn't mean you're going to have side-by-side racing. Go ask the races last year, which are shit. They'll tell you there was no side-by-side racing except for the 5 seconds on a restart where they're going, oh, we're 4 wide. Cool. How about when you're 50 laps in a run, you can't pass? That's awesome. Love it. And you can pass in Xfinity cars 50 laps in a run because you can get up behind a guy and get them loose. One of my favorite parts of the race, actually, Dale Jr. pulled up in front of Austin Cindric, cleared himself. Cindric got back to his bumper and got him loose because you can do that in these cars. But NASCAR's going to go the way NASCAR wants to go. And but if they saw that race on Saturday and said, nah, Cup is still better. That racing is good, but it's not as good as the Cup Series. I don't know. I don't know how they can say that after seeing some of the Xfinity races this year and how good they've been. How can you, like Darlington? Look at Darlington Xfinity Series. It was great. They go to Cup and they're barely hitting the wall because they have so much downforce. That's stupid. All right. So just think about this, right? They create a package to fix the bad racetracks. There's a reason why they're bad racetracks. It's because they're all 1.5 milers, all right? Or because they're recent repaves. You look at the good racetracks. Martinsville, hindered by the package. Richmond, hindered by the package. Watkins Glen, Sonoma, hindered by the package. Darlington, hindered by the package. Phoenix, hindered by the package. New Hampshire, hindered by the package. Homestead, hindered by the package. Atlanta, slightly hindered by the package. Those are good racetracks. Those are tracks that require driver skill. They're all hurt by the package. Those are real racetracks. All right? Then you go to tracks like Kansas, one of the newest 1.5 milers. We need something to improve the racing. Chicagoland, it was good before that. It's still good after the package. Texas, it just sucks no matter what. Kentucky sucks no matter what. Pocono sucks no matter what. Indy sucks no matter what. Michigan sucks no matter what. Auto Club, it could be good under both packages. So, what I'm saying is, the good racetracks, the tracks that are meant to be on the schedule, are the ones that are hurt by the package because they are actually made for a real package. Alright? When you go look at the good racetracks, what tracks would you rank at the top? You would rank the short tracks, you'd rank 1.5 milers like Homestead, you'd rank road courses. Right? Those are all tracks that have been hurt by the package. So, you know, fake package helps the fake tracks. Fake package hurts the real tracks. So that's it for that rant. Great Homestead race. I expect the Xfinity race later today to be just like it, and I'll be shocked if it's not. So basically everything I said in this video, you can probably just copy and paste over into a video and just have a different title of like 2020, whatever this race name is, 250 at Homestead. Make that the race review as well, because it's probably going to be damn near the same. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one.